Hello everyone, how are you? Hope everyone is fine. Welcome back to the science online lesson. Today we will continue the previous lesson, Inside Solids, page 76 to 77. Lesson objective, to discuss about salts and changing solids. Open page 77 in your textbook. Salts. The chemical name of table salt that we usually use is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride crystals contain sodium and chlorine particles. The particles are arranged alternatively in rows. Here we can see that this is a sodium chloride crystal. It consists of sodium as well as chlorine particles. They are arranged in a grid-like structure. They are arranged in a structure like this. It has sodium as well as chlorine particles. Here you can see two colored particles, right? Here we can see that one is green colored and one is gray colored. Here the gray colored is sodium, that means small atom is a sodium, and the green one, that is a green atom, is a chlorine atom. Okay, they are arranged like this. The sodium chloride crystal is arranged like this. The square grid explains why sodium chloride crystals are cube shaped. As we already discussed in the previous class, that the sodium chloride crystals in the cube shape. You know that what we are getting is the powdered table salt, but actually the structure is in a cube shaped. Actually we are powdering this structure. We are making the powder from this structure. Okay, so actually the square grid explains this is the structure of the sodium chloride. That is why that is cube shaped. Because of this structure, the sodium chloride is cube shaped. Sodium chloride cannot bend because the particles cannot slide over each other. Hope you remember about the copper atom. That means the structure of copper atom. Here copper metal. We already learned that they are arranged in layers, and these layers can slide over each other. That is why the copper metal was bending. But in case of sodium chloride, they are also arranged in layers, but they cannot slide over each other. That's why it is not bending. The sodium chloride breaks between its rows if you hit it with a hammer. We know that when you break the sodium chloride, that means if you are getting the cube sodium chloride, that means if you are getting the cube salt, if you are breaking it with a hammer, it will break down. When you break down, we are not actually breaking into sodium and chlorine separately. Actually what you are making is a smaller piece of sodium chloride. Okay, the sodium chloride breaks between its rows if you hit it with a hammer. But you can't separate sodium chloride into sodium and chlorine just by hitting it. You just make the smaller lumps of sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is not the only salt that forms crystals. There are many different crystal shapes, but they all have straight edges. The shape of a crystal depends on the way its particles are arranged. Most crystals are brittle and not bending. Most of the crystals are brittle. Brittle means it cannot be broken, and they are not bending. These are some of the examples of crystals. Okay, this is a copper sulfate crystal and this is the iron sulfide crystals. Explain why metals are strong and bendy. Hope you remember that we had discussed in the previous class. Metals are strong because their atoms are strongly attracted to each other, and they are difficult to separate. They are bendy because their atoms are arranged in layers, and these layers can slide over each other. That is why the metal bends. Explain why sodium chloride crystals are brittle and not bendy. It is brittle because it breaks between its rows when you hit it with a hammer, and it is not bendy because the rows of particles cannot slide over each other. Changing solids. A scientist puts a piece of copper in a container without air. Okay, the scientist is putting a piece of copper in a container that doesn't have air. He heats the copper. When you heat the copper, what will happen? The energy is transferred to the copper. When you're heating something, the energy is transferred to that material. So the energy is getting transferred to the copper. At 1083 degrees Celsius, the energy starts to break up the patterns of atoms. Okay, the copper is melting. First, let us understand about the ice. What happens when you heat ice, or when the ice is heated? What will happen? It will melt, right? The same thing happens. The thing is that the melting point of ice is only 0 degrees Celsius. That means it will melt easily. While copper, the melting point is very high. That is 1083. Only if you are reaching that degree, you can imagine about you know your normal body temperature, right? That is 37 degrees Celsius. You can imagine how hotter will be when it is 1083 degrees Celsius. So when it is heated to that temperature only, the copper will melt. Okay, when it melts, like ice gets converted to water, the copper will get converted to its liquid form. Okay, so all the copper is liquid. Its atoms still touch each other. As you know, what is the structure difference in the structure of solid and liquid? The solid, they are arranged in a regular pattern, while in liquid they will be touching each other, but the thing is that they will be loosely touching each other. It will not be in a regular pattern. The same thing happens when the copper melts. Most of the metals and most salts also have high melting point. Most of the metals and as well as the salt, they will be having high melting point. They will not melt at the normal temperature, like normal usual temperature, like atmosphere temperature. They will not be melting. They will be melting only at high temperature. Solids also change when they react with other chemicals. Okay, if you heat copper in oxygen gas, what will happen? The copper will not melt. Then what will happen? Instead, it joins with oxygen to make copper oxide. Here we can see the structure. Actually, this is copper. Actually, this copper was combined with each other. What happens when it reacts with oxygen is this copper will get separated, and what will happen? This copper will combine with oxygen to form copper oxide. Okay, this is the copper atom, and this is another copper atom. This copper atom will combine with oxygen. This oxygen will also get separated. Okay, this copper will combine with oxygen to form copper oxide, and this copper will combine with another oxygen atom to form another copper oxide, and we obtain two molecules of copper oxide compound. Okay, instead it joins with oxygen to make copper oxide. The reaction happens because the copper atoms are more attracted to oxygen atoms than they are to each other. The copper atoms break out of their layers to join the oxygen atoms. Hope this is clear. Give two ways of breaking up the pattern of atoms in a solid. As we already discussed, there are two ways in which we can break the pattern. As I already told you, when you are breaking the sodium chloride with the hammer, you are not actually separating the sodium and chloride. You are just making the smaller lump of sodium chloride crystal. But what happens? But how we can break the pattern of atoms in solid? We can either do it by melting the solid or by making it reacting with some other substance, like we did it with copper. When you're reacting copper with oxygen, what happened? It get converted to copper oxide. That is how we can make the new patterns. Okay, by melting the solid or by getting the solid to take part in a chemical reaction. Hope this is clear. I have uploaded the notes along with the video. Please write the notes in your science notebook. Please feel free to contact me if you have any doubt. Thank you.